We will be having part 2 of using manipulative materials in teaching mathematics and learning mathematics. By the way, somebody is raising his hand. What's the concern? Ah, wala.
Sorry, sir.
Ah, okay. So this will be the content. So I'll be focusing now on plane geometry, solid geometry, and trigonometry, statistics, and also probability. Now, these are our learning targets. Identify different manipulative materials in teaching and learning mathematics. For a while, Saka. Yeah. Okay, these are the learning targets. Teaching, identify different manipulative materials in teaching and learning mathematics. Explain the usage of the different manipulative materials in teaching and learning math, and also create different manipulative materials in teaching and learning mathematics. Now, this, let's have the first one. So, focus ito sa geometry. You're very familiar with geo boards, right? Have you used geo boards when you were elementary and junior high school? Nakagamit mo geo boards, by the way, class?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Okay.
High school.
Pag high school ninyo, nagamit mong geo boards. Okay. Now, you have there examples of geo boards. There are a lot of geo boards nga pwede man gani kamoy maghimuan na, because back then when I was high school, um, it was really made by us. We were just simply using mga nails, a thick board, plyboard. So, a mathematical manipulative used to explore basic concepts in plane geometry such as perimeter, area, characteristics of triangles, and other polygons. It consists of physical board with a certain number of nails half driven in it, around which are wrapped geobonds that are made of rubber. Akong gigamit ra to kay rubber band ra jud. Normal rubber bands can also be used. Now, more on geoboards. Originally made out of wood and brass nails or pegs, geoboards now are usually made out of plastic. They may have an upright square lattice of 9, 16, or 25 nails or more, or a circle of nails around a central nail. Here we have students are asked to place rubber bands around the nails to explore geometric concepts or to solve mathematical puzzles. So geoboards may be used to learn about plane shapes, translation, rotation, reflection, similarity, coordination, counting, right angles, pattern, classification, scaling, position, congruence, area, perimeter. Now, when I was teaching in junior high school, when I discussed congruence, I made use of geoboard. Same thing with area and perimeter back then. Katong ang mathematics is na by area and perimeter sa grade 7. I also used this one, including classification about mga angles, mga triangles, also about right angles. Okay, they can really see the concrete concept. It's not just they just simply visualizing it. Sila'y maghimo og ilahang mga congruent triangles. Sila'y maghimo sa ilahang mga ing-aning nga triangle is isosceles. This one is right. This is one is acute. So, same thing with, these are some questions that encourage students' understanding by representing figures while also helping them develop concepts about measurement. So, using geo boards, these are simple questions that we usually ask. Show a triangle that has an area of 1 square unit. Show a triangle with an area of 3 square units. Show a triangle with an area of 5 square units. Show an equilateral triangle. These are some things magamit nato sa geoboard. Show an isosceles triangle. Show a scalene triangle. Show a right triangle with an area of more than 2 square units. Show two triangles that have the same shape but are different sizes. What is the area of each triangle? Probably a question padung ni siya sa perimeter or rather sa similarity. Next, show a rectangle with a perimeter of 10 units. Show the smallest square on your geoboard. What is the largest square that you can make on your geoboard? Show a square with 5 square units. Show a square with 10 square units. Make a rectangle with an area of 6. What is its perimeter? Make a hexagon and determine the perimeter. So, let's start off with teaching. How do we teach perimeter with geoboards? We don't right away like you determine the size, the length of this part, then ihatag nimong formula nga 2L plus 2W. It is very good nga you will let the students explore the formula. They will discover the formula using the geoboards. And how do we do this? It's very, very simple. So first thing is we instruct our student to assume that the line connecting each peg, just like that, in the geoboard means one length na siya. Same thing with this. For the purpose of this beginning perimeter activity, we will ignore the fact that the length of the diagonal between pegs is longer than the transverse or the longitudinal lines. So as you can see in a geoboard, for sure, these two lines is shorter compared to the diagonal. You all know that. But we will disregard that. We will ignore that because our purpose is simply perimeter man atong gipangitaan ana. Ang concept sa perimeter. Okay? Now, let's continue. So take note ha. In introducing a geoboard to your class, you should let your students know, represent, this is one length from one nail to another nail. From one nail to another nail, that's one length. A horizontal line from one to another, that's also one length. Here we go. Have your student place a rubber band around some pegs. Explain that perimeter is the distance around the outer boundary of a two-dimensional shape. So as you can see, mao na inyong ipa-output sa mga bata. So ang mga estudyante ninyo is ilahing nag-figure nga ma-form sa ilang geoboards. And after which, to calculate the perimeter, you simply count. You'll be counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Then after that, you show them, you focus first on a rectangle. You focus first on the rectangle. You present yung mga students na lahi-lahi na sila himog rectangle. And let them share katong iyang output sa iyang other classmates. Probably you will group your students. Then you let them explore the formula of the area of a rectangle. That is, dapat ilang output is 2L plus 2W or length plus width i-times nimo ang sum by 2. Either ana, maunay dapat ilang ma-come up nga formula rather than introduce the formula 2L plus 2W. Wala gani sila kabaw, unsa ng length, unsa ng width. Okay? So this is a very, very good way of letting the students discover the formula themselves. Okay, let me ask you this one. What is the perimeter of this polygon? Any volunteer? What's the perimeter? How much is that? 18. Anybody who has another answer? Or everybody will say it's 18 units? Everybody will agree with 18 units. Is this 18 units? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
14.
7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 units ra na saya. So it's simply 14 units. Let's have the second figure. What is the perimeter of this triangle? Again ha, kining diagonal, isa na siya ka count. 1 unit, 1 unit, 1 unit. What is the perimeter of this triangle? How much? 12?
sir.
12 lengths for that, or 12 units for that. Let's have another figure over here. What about this polygon? How do you call this polygon, by the way? How do you call this polygon, by the way? So this is another way of letting your students construct different polygons. So when I talk about, I see, yes, Johan, Bolo.
12 gyapon, sir.
12 gihapon ni siya. Pero what kind of polygon is this? Yes, April. Jay, go on.
Irregular na, sir.
This is an irregular polygon. And how do you call this one? Is this a quadrilateral, a pentagon, in a hexagon, an octagon?
Pentagon.
How do you call this? How many sides do you see in this polygon over here? How many sides are there?
7, sir.
7. So how do you call a polygon having 7 sides?
Heptagon.
A heptagon. That's like a review daw, tabi. 4 sides. How do you call that? 4. A quadrilateral. 5 sides.
Pentagon.
Pentagon. 6 sides. Hexagon. 7 sides. Heptagon. 8 sides. Octagon. 9-sided polygon. How do you call that? A nonagon. 10 sides. Decagon. 11 sides.
Dodecagon.
Dodecagon is 12. So ang 12-sided is dodecagon. Ang 11 sides.
Endecagon.
Andecagon. So andecagon, then dodecagon. Okay? So let's now continue. 12 units pud siya, sir, 12 lengths. What about the last figure here? How do you call this polygon, by the way? An octagon. An octagon. So why not you make use of, like, example classifying mo mga polygons? Why not you make use of the JU board in presenting or letting the students know nga mao di ni siya nging ani yan. Then another student will present another octagon nga laki iyang dagway. Basta kay 8 sides na saya. Okay? Nya, pwede po i-present ninyo ang irregular kay your classmates said, sir, irregular polygon o regular polygon. Okay? So, what is the perimeter of this polygon over here? 12. Is it 12?
8.
8. Okay, counted as 1 raman ni. Counted as 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's 8 length or 8 units. Okay? Next, how do we teach area with JO boards? So, example. Instruct your student to assume that 1 square on the JO board equals 1 square for this activity. Again, 1 square on the JO board equals 1 square. That's 1 square area for this activity. So we have here 1 square. So mo ni siya area, 1 square unit. Now, let's have this one. Have your student place a rubber band around some pegs. Explain that area is the size of a surface or the amount of space inside of a of a two-dimensional shape. Let the students count the number of small squares found in each figure. So, let the students create their own polygon or probably unsay ganahang shapes nila. Then after which, let them count how many squares are there. So, we have 1, we have 2.
Square units.
How many squares are there for this figure?
12.
12.
Sir.
So if you will be counting there 12, that will be the area of this figure. Now, ipa-derive dayon sa mga bata kung unsaon pagkuha sa 12. How will you get 12, by the way? How will you get 12? Kay ang atong gipabuhat yes,
By square.
by multiplying
Side, sir.
the sides. Pila man ang length ani nga side?
4.
4. Ang kini siya
4.
pila man ni?
3.
Oh, dira na ma-derive na dayon. Ang formula di ay sa atong area, sir, is length times width. What about this one? How many squares are there in this figure? 6. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So, sir, ang area ana, sir, is 6 square units. Atong i-verify. Pila may length ani nga side?
2.
2. What about this side?
3.
3. I-multiply na nimo, how much do you get? 6. So, instead of having length times width right away, you make use of JO boards. Let them explore. Let them be the one. Okay, i-multiply di ay na ang side to get the area. Mas concrete noon ang knowledge sa mga bataan. Do you get what I'm trying to imply in this example?
Yes,
So
sir.
there you go. To calculate the area, ighuman sa activity, maingon din mo. To calculate the area, it's so simple. Multiply the length and the width. And there you go. Same jud na sa number of squares sa inyuhang JO boards. Now, what if you are given, like, you can also use a JO board to explain how to find the area of a triangle. Like, example, this triangle over here. The formula, ayo sa natanawang formula. Kung akong basihan, tanawan ako ha. Kung akong basihan, di ba, kini siya is a square, right? Is this a square? Kining hole? This one over here. Now, let's count all the small squares in the square. How many are there?
16.
There are 16. So meaning the area of this square is 16 square units. Now, sir, katunga raman ana akong gipangitang area, sir. So what are you gonna do with 16?
By 2.
Divide by 2. So do not right away, sir, I will be multiplying the base and the height divided by 2. Why not you let them explore, give them squares, nya human tungaan ng square, pilay area sa triangle ninyo. So they will be saying 8 because 16 divided by 2 is 8. Then from that, you derive the formula now. Nga, sir, if ako i-multiply ni sir ba ang base o ang height, nya it times na kog 1/2, I will get 8, sir. So that is now the derivation of the formula. Do not feed the formula right away to the students. Let them explore. Let them explore. Kay mauna na ang atuang trend karon. Okay? The formulas are already there. Ang importante karon is how to explore them without feeding it to the students. Now, let's have another one. Once you know how to find the area of a triangle, you can find the area of any straight-sided shape. Like, for example, this one. So, unsa may area, sige, kamoy pangita sa area ani be. Unsay area ani nga figure? You tell me. 7.
11, sir.
7. Some will say 7. Are there any answers aside from 7? Sige. Let's explore. Basi name ingon 8, sir. 9, sir. 5, sir. Or 6, sir. Nay mo ingon 6 or 7 jud mo tanan? 7. Now, after this, you ask the students dayon, how did you arrive with 7? So if you're students here, unsaon man ninyo pagtubag ang question, why is your answer 7 squares? Where are the 7 squares there? Say, atong ihapon una. Unahon na itong ihap ang klaro.
Sir.
Yes, go on.
Na ay given na 1, 2, 3, 5 ka squares. Yun. Ang kanang ang 2 squares, sir, na-derive sa kanang half-half sa kanang nas kilid, sir.
Yes, kini siya. Kini.
Sir, man, sir, kana, sir.
Okay.
Yung kana, sir, half. Then, if imo na i-tapad sa 1 square.
Okay, so kining duha will make 1 square. Right? Also, these two. So that's your idea. So there you go. Inyo ding igamitag formula, area of the squares, 5 squares. Nya, sa rectangle, pwede na sad katunga concept or pwede sad, there are a lot of ways again, ha? Ayaw jud mog settle anang inyuharang dapat nga formula, inyuharang solution mo ay dapat nga ma-present sa klase. Students now are very, very creative. They can present other solutions. Ma-amaze na lang ka nga bitaw no, pwede biya na siya nga naon. So it's just amazing na there are students who see different solutions but you still arrive with the same answer. What about this figure over here? What is the area of this figure? Sige. Kini nga figure.
Sir.
13. Is that final already? 13. Nganong na 13 man abe? Sige, explain. So kung kamoy estudyante, how will you explain that?
Same lang yapon, sir.
Same ra gihapon.
Same ganing.
Same ganiha. Okay. So again ha, this is how you teach area to your students. Next, let's go to nets and 3D shapes. Nets and 3D shapes. So, are you familiar with nets, by the way?
Pareha ba na sa
Again?
pareha ba na sa sir? Net sa kanang isda.
Pareha siya sa net sa isda. So, what is your idea about nets and 3D shapes? Go on.
Wala ko idea di ana sir, isa nang net niya sir.
Okay, let's have the definition. So, this is a geometric net can be defined as a two-dimensional shape that can be modified to form a three-dimensional shape or a solid. So kanang nets, kung imo nang pilon-pilon, makahimo kag 3D shape ana. Sir, unsa may pasabot anang 3D shape, sir? Kanagong mga prisms nato, kanang mga cylinders, kanang mga cubes, kanang mga rectangular prism, nga mga pyramids, mao nay gitawag natog 3D shapes, mga polyhedrons. Kung imuhan ng himuang two-dimensional, mao nay gitawag natog nets. Nya kung imo nang isumpay-sumpay sila, ipilo-pilo, maka-form kag 3D shapes ana. Now, a net is defined as a pattern obtained when a three-dimensional figure is laid out flat, showing each face of the figure. A 3D shape may have different nets. Now, a net, or rather a 3D, let's focus over a three-dimensional geometric shape, consists of the following parts: the faces, These are the curve or the flat surface on 3D shapes. An edge. An edge is a line segment between the faces. A vertex or the vertices. A vertex is a point where the two edges meet. Now let's focus over how do you call this kind of 3D shape?
Cube.
A cube. So a cube, unsay faces anang cube? Squares, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So let's determine the edges. Who can give me one edge there?
A.
A. When I say edge, gani, an edge is simply, balik ko na ko ha sa definition. Ang edge is a line segment between the faces.
Line AG, sir.
Line AG. Correct. Who can name another edge there? Okay. Look at what happens. Kanang nag-change og color, mao ni gitawag natog edges. Katong gisulti sa classmate ninyo nga AG, AF, FE, GE, FH, AB, maunay mga edges. Now let's go to the faces. When I say faces, katong mga squares nga naadra, sir. Kana, that's a face. That's another face. There's another face there. Another face. And another face. So those are faces. The vertices. These are the vertices. Over here. Those are your...
A, sir.
Yes. Point A, point F, point G. So those are vertices. Okay? Now, when you present this to your class, okay, let's go back to nets and 3D shapes. For a geometric net to form a three-dimensional, let's have the following conditions. The first condition, the geometric net and the 3D shape should have the same number of faces. Kung pila ka faces ang imuhang 3D net, 3D shape, maupoy number of faces sa imong geometric net, ana. The shapes of the faces in the geometric net should match the corresponding shapes of the faces in the 3D net. If you have 3 triangles in your 3D shape, then your 3D net should have 3 triangles as well. Example, okay? Another one. If the above conditions are satisfied, then visualize how the geometric net is to be folded to form the solid and make sure that all the sides fit together properly. So here are some steps to determine whether a net forms a solid. So make sure, I guess nabalik na ni siya. Okay. So anyway, this was discussed a while ago. Now let's go here. This is an example of a net. This is the solid. This is the 3D shape. This is what you call the net. And this is the net of a rectangular prism. Okay? Another one. This one, a pyramid. Probably the base is a square. You call that a square pyramid. Diba? The name of a prism or of a pyramid depende na siya unsay base. Kung ang yang base triangle, it's a triangular pyramid. If the base is a square, it's a square pyramid. Rectangular pyramid, kung rectangle iyang base, depende man na ang base nato sa pyramid. Ang prisms pod naman tay gitawag og triangular prism, sir. Unsay dagway anang triangular prism, sir? Ang dagway anang triangular prism, kabantay man ang sudlanan sa Toblerone. Are you familiar? Okay. Mo na gitawag nato rectangular or triangular prism. So meaning, sir, ang iyahang faces parallel kay puros na parallelogram. Ang iyahang sides kini siya, ang base kung ako ning ipabarog is a triangle. Depende pud na siya kini rectangular prism nga naman kay ang iyahang there you go. Rectangle man na saya. Rectangle man pud ni saya. Okay? This one is the net for a cylinder. This one is the net for a cylinder. We have here a cylinder and this is the net of the cylinder. This one is the net of a cone. This one is the net of a cone. So, as you can see, if you will be folding this one, makahimo ka aning rectangular prism. If i-fold po din nimo siya, you will be making this pyramid. Yeah, ang nets, what is the net of a rectangular prism or cuboid? The rectangular prism or cuboid is formed by folding this net. Example, if I will be measuring using a ruler, mag-construct ko ani, kung ako ni pilon-pilon, mo ni siya mahimo niya. At the same time, how many nets are there for a cube? There are altogether 11 possible nets. So, ang cube, kung imo ning ipilo-pilo, kining tanan mga nets na sila sa cube. So meaning di ay sir, ang atua di ay rectangular prism, pwede po di ko maghimog laing net aside ani. Yes, you can. As long as inig-fold na ko ana niya, I can create this. Okay? Now, let's have the clinometer. I will finish na lang CM number 4 this session, ha? I will be finishing CM number 4 this session. Para next week, if there are questions, we can focus on the questions. The clinometer. This is a tool that is used to measure the angle of elevation or angle from the ground in a right angle triangle. Kisay nakagamit og clinometer pag junior high school nila. Katong nag-lesson mog angle of elevation and depression pag grade 9. Nakagamit mog clinometer sa inyohang klase?
Napo na elementary, sir.
Napod sa inyong elementary. Okay. So, this is what a clinometer is. Now, let's dig deeper. You can use a clinometer to measure the height of tall things that you can't possibly reach. Example, the height of a flagpole, the height of the building. Di man na, impossible man na siya ninyong ma-measure kay tag-as naman kayo na. So we will be using a clinometer in this case. Now, how do I make use or how do I create my own clinometer? Consider an object. Let's discuss this first. Consider this object. We have here a person. This is the height of the person. Sorry. Eye level lang ni siya. Eye level na sa eye level. Sa eye level na. So this is the person. Eye level na siya. The height is H1. Take note, H2 is simply if this is the pole. Example, this is a flagpole. Kini siya. Mo ni flagpole na to. Mo ni siya ang height sa flagpole. As you can see, from the line of sight, going here, kini siya, I can create a triangle, a right triangle there. And I have a height there which I can use for this angle. I already know this distance. The distance here, D here, is the distance from the base of the pole to where the person is standing. So, ang kuhaon na jud nato here is this. Dapat kabalo ka sa height gikan sa imong mata padung ubos. That's height 1. Imo pad nang gi-measure ang distance from the thing you are measuring to where you are going to use the clinometer. Og ang clinometer ang angle nga na-form ana niya. And you can solve how high or how tall the pole or the building is. So as you can see, we will be using this formula. So, sir, why is it that I'm using tangent here? Sige, explain daw. Manaman jud mo sa inyong trigonometry. Manaman jud mo sa inyong trigonometry. Unsa ang nganong d tangent theta man ni siya? Focus over here. Focus over here. Take note, you are given D and H. And with respect to theta, what is D and what is H? With respect to theta, what is H? Is it opposite? Is this adjacent? Is this hypotenuse? Ang H, sa ang H, opposite. Ang D, okay. Unsa man nga trigo function na ay adjacent ug naay opposite? Tangent, di ba? Remember TOA, tangent theta equals opposite over adjacent. Mauna siyang H, so tangent theta, let me have this one, is equal to H over D. Gisolve man ako si H. Kay i-add na ko si H o yung H1, mao man ay height sa ato ang gipangita. So meaning, ang HDI is tangent theta times the distance. Mao ni siyang nga formula. So when you teach this, of course, you let your students derive nga ano man na siyang ingana. And after which, mao na ni siya ang formula class. Okay? Or you let your students explore. Kibaw naman sila sa concepts ana. So let them explore. Then human pa-defend ilang answer later on. Nganong ingana ilahang natubag. Asa man sila gikan, it's okay not to give this. Kini, wala na problema. You let them explore. Basta ihatag lang jud nga how to make use of the clinometer. So, procedures in using a clinometer. On the top side of the chart paper, construct a large protractor as shown. So, this is your large protractor at the right. Sunod, fix the soft drink straw, this one over here, at the center point O, as shown in the figure, at the right using a nail. Ensure that the straw lies at your eye level. So, kini siya is okay. Next, form from the nail, from here, kini siya, suspend a weight. It could be any, basta gihigot na siya, then use a string. Hilo from this one going down. So, mo ni siya ang pag-construct sa clinometer. So, maghimo tag ato ang protractor, large protractor. Sunod, naatay, sir, pwede sad sir nga ang gamiton ako dili straw, like pwede kahoy akong gamiton, or sir, pwede like anything, like pwede sad sir kanang slider, pwede pud na. Basta kay katong zero didto sa inyuhang protractor, mutungod jud ang nail ana niya. Okay? Next, how do we use the clinometer now? A clinometer, also called an inclinometer, as it is used for measuring the angle of the slope, is thus prepared. So, katong gibuhat ganiha, preparing. Now, measure the distance d of the object. Probably the distance from the lamp post to where you will be measuring it. Katong gamiton nimo ang clinometer. Distance, d ang pangitaon. Sunod, if you're having measurements, have it in meters. Again, if you'll be having inches, inches tanan. Kung meters, meters tanan. The same units, okay? Emphasize that to your class. Now, look through the straw. Katong straw ganiha, kini siya, kining straw, inyo ning isaka. So, meaning kining straw here, or katong kahoy, straight na ninyong tanaw, So meaning maghandag na ni siya. Ang kini siya magpabilin na jud ni siya if ever example mahandag na ni nako siya kana siya naghandag na gaana na siya example. So meaning mauni akong tan-awon nga angle. Pilay angle ani from here going here. Yan na naman kay measurements ana. So you already know your theta. You already know the angle nga na-formed anang inyuhang clinometer. So kabalo na mo pilay theta ninyo. So mo ni siya gamit sa clinometer. Ang clinometer gamiton para makuha nato ang slope, ang angle nga atong needed sa problem. Next. So that's step number 6. Step number 7. So hold the clinometer in the position and record. So just like what I said, katong angle nga na-formed, mauto siya ang gamito nato nga angle. Record your height also. From the line of sight ha, line of sight going down. Eyes na going down. Next. Observations and results. So you need to have D. You need to have your theta, katong gigamitan na tog diameter sa clinometer. You need to have your height from the line of sight, katong H1. The distance times the tangent of the angle of elevation, that's H. Therefore, the height of the lamppost is this. Height 1 plus distance tangent theta. So, mo na ni siya, ang gamito na ako nga formula, when example, I'll be having another object, mo ni akong gamiton nga formula always. So, as a sample, this will be a sample over here. So, the height of the person, this is H2. This is the height of the person, 1.64 meters. This is from this height going to this height. Kini siya nga height. And the distance from the tree to the person. And kini siyang 35 degrees, giunsa ni pagkuha, gigamitan sa clinometer. And using this one, showing the solution for the height, kini siya nga height, I have this solution over here. And then, I can now solve the height of the tree by adding, katong gisolve na to ganiha, ug ang 1.64, which will give us 12.56 meters. Okay. Let's go to teaching spinners or using spinners in teaching probability. So in probability, manipulatives like spinners, cards, and dice will make the lesson much enjoyable. Spinners are circular in form and they are divided into equal parts and equal parts. So the number of divisions depends upon the activity. Spinners may differ in color of T parts. Some spinners may use numbers instead of colors, just like this one. So pwede numbers, pwede colors, pwede pod both numbers with colors. Now, here's a sample activity that I used in teaching probability. So I will give them the concept of probability first. Then I will let them. What is the probability or chance of getting a 2, a 1 first? Sir, nganong 4 over 16 man na? Sige, who can tell me nganong 4 over 16 man na saya?
Upat man kabuok 1 ang
Okay, upat. 1, 2, 3, upat kabuok. Why is this over 16?
16 kabuok ang
Divisions.
numbers.
Okay, 16 kabuok divisions tanan. So explain that concept. Then you simplify, of course. So 1 over 4. So kini siya fill upan ni sa mga bata. Same thing with this. So rather than nga magpa-solve kag problem, why not introduce this first? Sa deck of cards. You know what I do? Nagdala jud ko deck of cards pero gigroup na kong mga bata. Ako'y nag-provide nila sa deck of cards. Wala ko nagpadala nila. Ako'y nag-provide. Ako'y naghatag. Gigroup na ako sila. Explore sa movie. Sige. Unsay mga cards nga nasa deck of cards. How many colors are there? Let's explore deck of cards. Probability man jud ni siya nga lesson. Unsay mga colors sa deck of cards?
Red and black.
Red and black. What are the red? Di ba there are two red cards? Unsa tong two red cards? Diamond and heart. Correct. What are the black cards?
Kamunggay og speed.
Unsa may in English anang kamunggay? Clubs. Clubs ba na? Oh. So dapat ma-familiar ta ang red, diamond, ug ang heart. Kay ako ay when I teach probability, akong lingawon ang mga bata, magdala kog cards really sa akong klase. Nya human i-present na i-explore sa na nila. Let them explore. Ang black, these are the red, these are the black. Ang black na atay spades, katong paypay, ug ang club. Ang club mao ni siya ang kamunggay. Okay? Now, unsay nabantayan ninyo anang king, queen, ug jack?
Mga tao.
Mga tao. So unsay tawag ninyo ani class?
Face card.
O mo ni gitawag na tog face cards. Now, di ba naasad tay gitawag og number cards? Unsa may mga how many number cards are there? What are the number cards?
2 to 10.
Again, what are the number cards?
2 to 10, sir.
Ansan? 1 to 10?
2 to 10.
2 to 10. Nganong 2 to 10 man ang number cards?
Letter mo to isa.
Unsa man din ng alas?
Letter.
Unsa, how do you call that? Sige, how do you call that?
Alas.
Okay, an ace card. So take note, mo argue man ng mga bata, sir, kung magduwa ko, sir, kaya ang alas, sir, 1 man, sir. O, ingna dayon, is there a number 1 on your alas? O, mahilom dayon na sila. So, ang ato rin dyan, let them explore. Let them see nga bitono ang alas kay walay number. Pero kung magduwa ta, ang alas pwede ba na siyang mahimong 1, ang alas pwede mahimong 20. Am I correct? Am I right?
11 naman. 11 naman sir.
Ha? Ang 11 kay 11 is Jack, Queen 12, 13 kung butangan og King, 14 di ay ito, 14 ang Ace. Kay mag-add-add ka ba? Example kanang mag-add-add ta sa mga ingana. So anyways, let's not put emphasis ana. Ang atong hatagag emphasis ani is ang Ace is an Ace card. It's not a number card. The number cards has a number on it. So this is how I teach probability. Okay? So you make use of this as well. Pwede spinners, pwede pud cards. So let's go to the different task now. So I will be making a Google Forms for this. Ako na sa ning i-Google Forms. Most probably ako na rin ning i-multiple choice again. Okay? Is that okay with you?
Yes, sir.
Okay kaayo. Okay. Let's go to the critical thinking part. So I have here 3 activities sa critical thinking. Ang first one is this. Illustrate 3 polygons with the same perimeter using a geoboard. This is an example. I have here 3 polygons, and these 3 polygons have the same perimeter. Monay sa letter A. If you can see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 ni siya, sir. 12 ni siya, sir. 12 po na siya, sir. Sa letter B, this time, 3 polygons nga the same area. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This is also 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Murag nanubra ni siya, no? Nanubra ni, right? Nanubra ni class?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So, probably naalang ko yung mistake nga ma-edit dire. Basta ang instruction, 3 polygons with the same area sa letter B. Ang letter C is this. Kamoy maghimo og mga nets. Ayaw na ning cube. Again, ayaw na ang cube. Kaya ang cube nahatag na nako. You can use a rectangular prism. You can use a triangular pyramid. It's up to you. Basta ayaw na ang cube, kay ang cube nga nets nahatag na sa ato ang CM. So I need to have 5 different nets of any kamoy magbuot unsa nga polyhedron or unsa nga 3D shape that you want. Is the critical thinking part clear? Class, is the critical thinking part clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, sa sir.
Yes, okay ra sad kung
I mean, different nets kanang of isa ka polyhedron, sir? Or
kuan na ni
different
silbing
unsa nga ay
kuan isa ra ka polyhedron inyong piliun. So, 1 polyhedron, pero 5 different nets.
okay, sir. Thank you,
Okay?
sir.
So, magpili mo unsa kay ganahan ako. I'll be using, triangular prism lang ko. Then, inyo ding pangitaan sa 5 different nets niya. Okay? Is this clear, by the way? Okay. Now,
Yes, sir.
let's go to the creating part. So, the creating part, ang focus jud nako sa creating part is the clinometer. As you can see, maunay focus nako sa creating part. I would like you to take pictures. I need you to document this. So dapat paghimo ninyo sa clinometer, nagpicture-picture mo. Pag measure ninyo sa height katong gagamit mo sa clinometer, gipicturan mo nga gagamit mo sa clinometer og asa ang inyong gipangita nga height. Is it a tree? Is it a building? Is it a post? It's up to you. So dapat naa ni siya documentation ha. I need to see kamudyoy na gamit sa clinometer nga inyong gihimo nya. Pwede ra mo magtinabangay ani class ha. Nya pwede ra like pwede mo tabangan magtinabangay ta ani classmate nga ang usara ka kilometer inyuhang himuon. So pwede ra mo mag-group ani ha. Pag himo sa kilometer magtinabangay. Pero inig pangita na ang usa ka classmate kahoy, ang usa kay balay ako kini kay lahi nga kahoy, ang iyaha kay kining mangga, ang usa kay katong lubi or kining usa flagpole. But they are using the same clinometer. Walay problema jud ni Sir Tigli. Nya mao ni siya ang mga gamitonon ninyo para maghimo sa clinometer. Just follow the instructions. There are directions here. Follow lang na ninyo. Nya ang second is 3D shape. Nanakoy gihatag nga 3D shape na anay gihatag nga 3D shape sa inyong CM na nakoy gi-provide. Ang inyo na lang is maghimo na sad mo 3 more nets. Now this time dili ni siya usara ka 3D shape. Pwede na ni siya example sir, akong himuon sir kay sa cylinder. Sunod sir, akong himuon sa pyramid nga triangular. Sir, square pyramid. Sir, sunod cube. Sunod sir, rectangular prism. So it's up to you now. Then I need you to, of course, katong inyuhang net, inyo nang himuon, piluon na ninyo para maka-form og 3D shape.